All right, we are back here on the podcast, wrapping up the baseball season here. We're going to do our series of check-ins. You do a State of the Union for both of the locals here. We'll start with the more positive one here. Yankees going to the playoffs, most likely the first wild card, still an outside shot division. Joining me today to talk the Yankee State of the Union here. Great friend of the podcast, our MLB over-unders for every season. Phil Fraietta is back with us. Phil, how are you?
I'm doing great, Mike. Thanks for having me back. Always happy to talk baseball.
Yeah, always fun to talk some baseball here. And I have to say, for a bit, it was a little rough for the Yankees, but I have to say, I feel like the turnaround we had the last, I'd say, like 3 weeks or so has to make you feel very encouraged by what we've seen the last like month. Like I'd say, basically after that last Red Sox series through the current Red Sox series.
Yeah, they're the hottest team in baseball over the last 3, 4 weeks or so. And for a while, the knock was, well, they're only beating the bad teams. But now they took 3 out of 4 series against the teams who are going to be in the American League playoffs. So they took care of business against those teams also. I feel good. I feel very good. I feel like they've righted the ship here.
Yeah, you mentioned that little gauntlet they've been through here, and like they win 2 or 3 in Houston, which is never an easy place for them. They win 2 or 3 at home against Toronto. The Tigers get them in a series, then they go beat Boston 2 of 3 at Fenway, which has been a house of horrors for them of late here. So, like, what's your takeaways from the gauntlet here and how they did?
I think it proved some doubters and naysayers that the numbers weren't lying. The numbers tell you that the Yankees are a very good team.
Yeah.
They've got the best offense in the league according to the numbers. The starting pitching is very good according to the numbers, and the results speak for themselves. That they can beat anybody. Now, do they have some warts? Yeah, of course they have warts. Everybody has warts. There's no great team in baseball this season except maybe the Brewers, but in the American League especially, there's no great team. So I think this showed you that the Yankees can compete with the best in the American League.
Yeah, and going in, speaking of nobody great in the American League, I'm looking at the standings at time of recording here. Like the Yankees at time of recording have the third best record in the American League. There's Toronto's 87 wins, the Tigers have 85, the Yankees have 83. So like there's a 6 win spread from number one seed in the AL to the last wild card.
Yeah, there's really just not a great team in the American League. There are a few good teams, but nobody scares you really, and there's nobody who I personally think the Yankees can't compete with.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that makes a lot of sense here. Let's touch on some specific things here. I mentioned outlined some of my concerns at the top of the pie about the Yankees, so I want to throw a couple of these things your way here. Number one, the Aaron Judge defensive issue. We know that he's been limited with the elbow injury. He's in playing some right field, mostly DHing with Stanton back there. Like, I know the Yankees have been kind of vague on what's going on there. We heard Aaron Boone talk about the creative cuts to try and minimize him. There's the viral throw against Toronto last week where everybody's wondering what the hell he's doing. He's not popping the ball into the infield. So, what do you feel about the Judge situation? Do you think we have to worry about his arm right now?
No, absolutely. He is not healthy in terms of throwing the ball. That much is obvious. The Yankees have all but admitted as much. Um, but they don't have another choice because we can't they can't run Giancarlo Stanton out there every day. We all know that he's a liability defensively. His body can't hold up. So Judge is going to have to play, but you're not going to get the same kind of throwing arm from Judge that you're accustomed to seeing.
Yeah, it's the
And that is what it is. There's no way around it.
yeah, because like I've been trying to keep track here. It feels like now, like it's like just like they're kind of going every other day with him in the outfield, where they're trying to just preserve his arm for the regular season. Like I think the hope here is that like when you get to the playoffs, like once you get past that wild card series, that like when you have like a day off, like after every 2 games, maybe you'll be able to get him out there every day. That'd be a sort of sense of what their target is.
Yeah, I think that's right. Because you definitely want Judge out there over Stanton, even with the limited throwing. Just the range is a major difference. Stanton in this gauntlet, as you spoke about, misplayed a ball last night in Fenway Park. He misplayed a ball in Houston. He's not a very good outfielder. We all know that. So you definitely want Judge out there just for his range and the ability to track down some fly balls, but he's not going to throw the way he used to.
Yeah, that might not come back till next year. And one thing that sort of popped up this year, like has been of late, the fans have been always critical of Anthony Volpe's play. We learned that shoulder injury he suffered back in May is actually like some kind of torn labrum here. He's not played since Tuesday, as of recording. Jose Caballero has been the regular shortstop here. Like, do you think this is the point? And this is feel like the Yankees gotten a spark when Caballero's out there because he brings some speed, some energy. He's got a stronger arm than Volpe right now. Like, have we seen the last of Volpe's significant contributor to the Yankees this year, you think?
This season, I think there's a very good chance that that is the case. Yes. Um, I'm not sure about going forward. I think they would like to give Volpe every opportunity to win that job next year. But this season, I think Caballero is going to be the get the majority of reps at shortstop going forward. I'm not sure how much I credit this injury with Anthony Volpe's disappointing season because if you look at his offensive numbers, they're more or less what he's done every season in his career. So you're not seeing much there. Is it possible that maybe his throwing has been a bit affected and that's causing some erraticism in the field? Yeah, I guess that's possible. But whatever it is, just not working out for him. In the past, they didn't have a viable replacement. Oswald Peraza was not a viable replacement to play shortstop for the New York Yankees, but Caballero is. Like you said, he gives them a spark. He provides a different element. He's a good defensive player. He can steal a base. He's a bit of an edgy, kind of annoying guy that can win you a game that way. So I think for now he's getting the reps for now and for the remainder of the season.
Yeah, I think well, you brought the thing with Peraza because like the options the Yankees had out of them over a while were not big league players. I mean, we see these guys they've dumped or moved on from. They're not servicing anywhere here. Where Caballero like may not be a great player, but like he's a guy you can run out there, hit eighth or ninth in your lineup, and he'll make the plays defensively you need him to make.
He's a big leaguer, like you said. They did not have a viable alternative for Volpe over the past few years. They haven't had a big leaguer behind him. Um, Now they Oswald Cabrera is a big leaguer. He got hurt earlier in the year, and he was playing third base because they didn't have a third baseman either. So I don't blame the Yankees for playing Volpe through the trade deadline. They didn't have another choice, but now you've got another choice. You got a guy who's a major league player. He should be playing.
Yeah, I expect he will keep playing here. The other big concern area here, the bullpen, which has been a strength of the Yankees in the past, certainly not this year. Devin Williams cannot stick as the closer. They made the three big deadline moves. Only Bednar seems to have really stuck his role as the closer. We got an inconsistency from Williams, Luke Weaver, Cruz, Duvall. I feel like everybody has their ups and downs. His bullpen, like how big is the circle of trust now? Does it extend much beyond David Bednar?
No, not really. I like Cruz. I like Cruz a lot. I like his makeup, but he's certainly vulnerable to a bad outing, as we saw against Detroit. Weaver is solid. I like him. I like his mental makeup, but he's not great. And this is what you got. This is what you're going to have to go into October with, and try and get outs. And I'm sorry to Yankee fans who I know don't want to hear this, but what that means, and you saw it over the gauntlet, Devin Williams is getting the ball in big spots. There's no way around it. They need him. And you're going to, in a sense, live and die by Devin Williams. They need that guy to get outs for them in the seventh inning and the eighth inning of games.
Yeah, because I mean, the Yankees do have some decent starting depth, and they will get guys who can probably go 5, 6 innings most of the time. But like, you can't go to David Bednar for 9 outs every night. You need somebody else in that bullpen has to get outs.
You know the way playoff baseball works. The 5 innings and they're running out to take out the starting pitcher.
Yeah,
Now maybe you could squeeze a Fried or a Rodon for six. If you get seven, that's a miracle. But yeah, you got to get outs, and it can't just be David Bednar. So Weaver's got a role. I view Weaver as more of the fireman. He's the guy you bring in when there's runners on base to get you out of a jam. And that means Cruz and Williams they got to get outs. And Williams has been pretty solid over his last few outings. So we'll see if he's able to keep that up. But the guy's got a track record, and he's the guy you're going to rely on here to get you outs.
Yeah, I agree with that here. Also, interesting spot for the Yankees too, because I talked about this earlier in the podcast as well. That since the advent of the wild card series in 2022, the Yankees have not been in it. They've won the division both years they made the playoffs. This year, barring like a red hot run at the end combined with a poor run for the Blue Jays, they're going to be in the wild card series here, which changes how you deploy your starting pitching here. Obviously, you figure Fried's in there, Rodon's in there. Who is the third star you feel like in the postseason?
I think it depends who you play. Luis Gil has fantastic career numbers against Boston, such that I think if you play the Red Sox, Gil's going to get the ball. If you play anybody else, I think it's a real toss-up. Gil obviously has the experience factor. He pitched some postseason games last year, but he's wild. Walks a lot of batters, and that can really backfire in a postseason. I like Hitler a lot. I think he's got a good arm. I think he's got a good makeup. So to me, Heel is probably the favorite, but I don't think he's a heavy favorite. It's probably a 60-40 type thing.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting spot here too, because I think the other thing that the Yankees will value is that, like, yes, Schlittler has better stuff, but Heel has posting experience from last year, including a start in the World Series. And Schlittler does not have. That's a tough spot to put a rookie in when you have more proven options.
Yeah, and look, it's not like Heel has bad stuff. Heel has excellent electric stuff also. He's wild and he does walk a lot of batters. And that scares you in an October game. But from that standpoint, at least as far as if one of those two guys has to come out of the bullpen, Schlittler is definitely has a better bullpen makeup than Heel, given how wild Heel can be.
Yeah, I talked about this earlier in the podcast. So I think interesting thing is also how you line the guys up because I feel like obviously you're going free game one here. You wonder if you're the Yankees, you can win that game one. That if you try and hold Rodon for game three, try and close it out in two, and then you have Rodon starting game one of the ALDS.
Yeah, I that's a tough one. I think I would do that, and hopefully I get that up the opportunity to make that decision. Right? Hopefully I win that game one, and my season's not on the line. But in the extent that I'm gonna go out in a game three, I think I want the veteran Rodon on the mound over a guy like Heel who could walk four batters in the first inning and give up a grand slam and I'm out of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, because I feel like I prefer Rodon in game three also if I can do it. Obviously, I think if you're lose game one, you have to throw Rodon to keep your season alive. But I do think that like in the ideal world, I think it's game three, and you if you sweep the wild card series, you start in game one of your wild or division series.
I think that's probably the way to do it.
Yeah. All right. So talk about this potential wild card series here. Right now, I think barring something flukish, you're gonna get the Red Sox in that series. And I think obviously we know the struggles the Yankees have with the Red Sox the last few years. So how do you feel about potential Yankee Red Sox 3-game wild card series matchup? Presumably Yankees stay if the standings hold.
Well, first I'd say I don't think it's as foregone a conclusion as you might think that they're going to get the Red Sox. Take a look at the standings there. Seattle's right there. Houston's right there. Texas is right there. It's not inconceivable that one of those teams hops Boston as the second wild card, and Boston slides in as the third wild card. But you're right that the likelihood is they get Boston, and I I don't want to see the Red Sox. Just to be quite frank with you, it's a team that scares me. They play the Yankees tough. They always have. This has gone on for since they broke the curse and continuing. It's just not a team that you want to see. That said, you just played them pretty tough up in Boston. You beat them 2 of 3. So you're capable of beating them, but they've got some crochet in game one. That's scary. That's very, very scary.
Yeah, it is very scary here. And I think the interesting thing with the matchups here is that you mentioned some of the options here. It's basically it's the Red Sox AL West runner-up would be probably your second house. I think the Guardians are more of a long shot. Still six the Tigers to deal with here. So I think like of those three, like Houston is taking on water right now, but they are still Houston. They still have Altuve and some of those big guys who can be nightmares in playoff spots. You have the little rascals of Texas who just came to Queens the weekend, won 2 out of 3 against the Mets, and they have some Jacob DeGrom to throw a game one of a wild card series. It's like pick your poison.
There's not you're not going to get an easy wild card series.
Yeah.
Who and Seattle? Don't sleep on Seattle, who has fantastic pitching. Uh, Brian Wu is a very good pitcher. He's an underrated pitcher, but he's a good pitcher.
Yeah.
So I would not sleep. The Yankees, they're going to go up against tough teams. Now they're a tough team. They've got offensively. I think they have the best lineup in baseball, 1 through 9. But they're going to get challenged. That's just the way it is. They're not. Last year they got a as easy as a road as you could have hoped for in the American League. That this year's not happening. They're going to get some tough challenges, including in the wild card series.
Yeah, I think for me, I think the two potholes for the Yankees, I think are more the earlier rounds of the series are shorter. And like you run into the big picture, whether it's, in the wild card series, like a Jacob DeGrom, one of the Mariner guys, Tarek, like Hunter Brown, Crochet, or if you get to the DS, you get to end up with Toronto. Toronto, I think, is not as bad a matchup for them in terms of pitching wise, but like you're up on the Detroit side of the bracket somehow, and Tarek Skubal's facing you twice in a 5-game series. That's stuff that's not gonna be fun.
No, that's and look, I know that a lot of Yankee fans get very frustrated that this is the organizational line for the past few years. It's a crapshoot, but there's some truth to that. You're playing short series, and in baseball, in a short series in baseball, anything can happen. And in a short series baseball against a team that's throwing an ace at you, that is scary. That's not where you want to be. But again, the Yankees have the team that can compete with anybody. The numbers will tell you that their run differential is the best in the American League. They score runs more than anybody. Their starting pitching is good. They have a good, solid team. So you have to remember that on the flip side, none of those teams are like, oh, I hope we get the Yankees.
Yeah. This is just one of those years. We look at the race, I think in both leagues, and like even Milwaukee you brought up like looks like the best team right now, but like I'm not convinced that their style of play holds up for postseason baseball. Especially like when you're dealing with the elite pitching on a day-to-day basis, it's very hard to play like they do and string multiple hits together, put together a run where they don't have as many guys just smash the ball with the fence.
Yeah, I don't buy it at all. I applaud the Brewers. Had a great season, but I'd be surprised if they play well in the postseason. It's around here in New York. You'll hear the WFAN caller say that you got to hit less home runs, but if you go back historically and look, the team who wins the World Series is the team who hits the ball over the fence.
Yeah,
In the postseason, not in the regular season. The team who hits the ball over the fence in the postseason will win the series. That's just the way it works.
you got to be able to have guys who can strike people out and hit balls with the fence. Like that's the easy ticket to win the postseason.
If you do that, you will win. And that's the way that the game is played now, for better or worse.
Yeah, it is.
And when it comes to that, the Yankees are very good at both of those things. Their pitchers strike a lot of people out, and they hit a lot of home runs.
Yeah, the issue is a lot of times that does not translate to the postseason. We have to see if it does this year.
Well, there's one guy in particular who we need to see it from.
Yeah,
But I feel that that's a kind of boring analysis. Well, if Aaron Judge hits, they'll win. Obviously, if Aaron Judge hits, they win. And if Aaron Judge doesn't hit, they won't win. But that's just the way it works. And by the way, the Yankees are not alone in that analysis.
no,
If your team makes it and Juan Soto disappears, you're not going to win.
no.
Your best player needs to hit.
Yeah, although with my team, it's more of an issue of Mr. Lindor, the shortstop. Like, if you look at their numbers and his numbers when they win versus when they lose, like they go as he goes.
Yeah, but sure. But Lindor is also a star, and and it goes across the league. Every team, if their best players are not performing in the postseason, they're not going to win the games, and the Yankees are not no exception.
Yeah, I'm out of curiosity to throw the Lindor stat at you because it's something I've written about for Mets on SI in terms of the Lindor situation, in terms of how he drives the Mets situations here. In wins this season, I'll throw this out to you. He has hit 326, 19 homers, 60 RBIs, and OPS of 968. When they lose, he's hitting a buck 94, seven home runs, 17 RBIs, OPS of 588.
Yeah, that's a big differential, obviously,
That's an
but
insanely big differential.
but it doesn't shock me all that much. I'm sure that if you were maybe that's a little more than the average guy, but I'm sure if you go through teams and you look at how do my stars perform in wins versus losses, if your stars don't hit, you're going to lose the game. That's the way the sport works.
Yeah,
Now, maybe it's not a differential that's that wide for other players. I don't know. I don't have those numbers in front of me, but it's not surprising to me that one if you're one of your star players is not producing, you don't win. Just like it's not surprising to me that the people throw out the stat. Well, if the Yankees don't hit home runs, they don't win. Nobody in baseball wins if they don't hit home runs. There's no team who has a good record when they don't hit home runs.
yeah. I'll give you a comparison here. I pulled Aaron Judge's numbers up in those same categories. In Yankee wins, he's hitting 344, 28 home runs, 68 RBIs at 1215 OPS. When they lose, 304, 20, 36, and a 1007 OPS.
Well, Aaron Judge is Aaron Judge, but
It's a
but
slight,
you
it's a slight dip, not as extreme as the Lindor dip.
not as extreme as a Lindor dip. No, and so maybe Lindor will carry or not carry the Mets. We'll see. But for all these teams, I stand by. If your best players do not perform in the postseason, you are not going to win.
Yeah, it is.
It's that simple.
It is that simple here. And like, you're a Yankees fan. Like, we're back to the Yankees here. Like, I think you have to like where your schedule is, like where you're playing the little sisters of the poor again for the last 2 weeks of the season, where like you can get in very hot right now. That's something you want to try and ride as long as you can.
Yeah, go beat up those teams, and more importantly, like you said, the division is basically gone, barring a miracle. But that first wild card is by no means secure. And if you are going to have to play in a best of three series for your season, at least get those games in Yankee Stadium. And if you look at the Yankees' home road record, there is a large differential there. The Yankees are a much better team at home than they are on the road.
And the park plays to you because all you have to do is like hit the pop fly at the right angle, drop over the fence. You have a 3-0 lead with two going on.
The park plays to a lot of the players in the Yankees lineup as well. And we're not talking about the Judges and the Stantons. Those guys can hit the ball out of any stadium. But Cody Bellinger, a
Yeah,
lot of fly balls to right field. Jazz, a lot of fly balls to right field. Grisham, a lot of fly balls to right field. Ben Rice, fly balls to right field. Austin Wells, fly balls to right field. You go down the lineup, they have a lot of hitters who are just better hitters in Yankee Stadium.
yeah. We'll see if they can secure that home wild card series. Phil, thanks for all the time. Really appreciate it. And people are throw a teaser out here. You're going to be on the Sky Guys podcast next week with our good friend Max Roberts, like helping us go set up our 2025 Sky Guys bracket.
Yeah, we're really changing gears from this segment and going into Star Wars, but that's a fun thing to do for these last few weeks of the regular season and to change gears over there. Obviously, neither of us have anything to talk about when it comes to football, so we can just move on to something that's when the baseball season's over, we'll just move on to non-sports.